Greetings, everyone. I hope that everybody had a wonderful and productive week, and that whatever you set out to do this week, you actually managed to keep to it. Hayi bafowethu angeke nginiqambele amanga. For me, this week was tough. Whoever said when you decide and commit on a diet, the first week is tough and the second week starts getting better. Hayi ngicela ukunitshela ukuthi hayi, I don't know what they must have been drinking. I don't know how strong their mental capacity is. Kodwa mina this week, I am not going to lie to you people, it was rough. As I said last week, this is a game of mind over matter. And really this week for me, I had to up that because everywhere I looked, there was temptation. It just so happened that this week was a week where I was doing a lot of traveling for work. And in my traveling, not only was I visiting various places, but I also had functions that I needed to attend that were basically driven by the organization. As you know, good people, in functions, you get given things that are really not good for your diet. So those finger lunches that get served, and you are sitting then looking at them, and they look so appetizing. And I don't know if you guys realize that, but for some reason in those functions, they never cater or give an alternative for those that are really like me, on a strict diet. So you have to make a plan. So I had to really exercise self-restraint. Mabe degile in front of you, and there is that decadent chocolate, a brownie, and there's the amazing macaroon, and the malva pudding, nkulunkulu with a custard that just says to you, woza. And all I kept saying was, remember Tuli, you have committed yourself and you have decided that you are going to go on the 6-week journey. So don't disappoint yourself. Hold yourself accountable and make sure that you keep to that promise that you made. And I am not going to lie to you guys, those temptations were tough. And as I said last week, this is a game of mind over matter. And therefore every single morning you have to wake up and say to yourself, I am going to do this, and I'm going to move forward and carry on and be committed to whatever it is that you've set yourself out to do. One thing that kept me going, and I must admit, guys, is that I set with my personal trainer Umethi, we had decided that every single Saturday we are going to measure, just to gauge the progress that I'm making in terms of those centimeters that I said I'm going to lose. So that goal that we had set for myself is what kept me honest, because one thing I know is that the measurements don't lie. And if you decide that you're going to lose weight and you're not keeping to the promise that you've made, it's going to show in that measurement. I'm not talking about the scale here because remember, not only am I deciding to go on the strict no carb, no sugar diet, but I've also decided to up my ante in terms of exercise, which means that I am gaining a lot more muscle as I'm losing those centimeters. And as you know, science tells us that muscles weigh higher than fat, and therefore the scale is not going to be a true reflection of the gains that you are making. So those centimeters that you are shedding are actually going to determine the progress that you are making. So every single day I kept thinking, if I don't keep to this promise, it's going to show in the centimeters, and I'm going to be disappointing myself and disappointing those that are rooting for me. So that goal, guys, is what kept me going. So one thing that I would then advise you guys to do is that in your journey to lose the weight, I highly recommend that you set yourself weekly milestones. And it is those milestones that are actually going to keep you going. And as I said, in my case, it was the weighing at the end on a Saturday. and measuring those centimeters, which are going to say whether or not I'm losing weight. So week 2 is done. I've done my measurements with my personal trainer, and I'm glad to say, guys, that I have lost further centimeters, and I'm also reducing in terms of my of the fat content on my body, which is really great because it shows that I am really making a difference and going all the way in terms of regaining my strength and my body. The nice thing about this journey, guys, is that as I said last week, there are so many lessons that I've learned. So what's the lesson that I've learned this week? This week I have learned that it is up to you to make a difference. There is no excuse. Sometimes we give ourselves excuse and you say, I was traveling and therefore I didn't have a choice. So what I did was I then made sure that I load up on a lot of things that are going to help me. I've been waking up and saying, Aibo, what is it that I'm doing? And again, the thought of just regaining my strength and regaining my body and being able to fit into those clothes that I love dearly, that were starting to get a little bit tight with those gremlins, what has kept me going. And therefore, even though it was a difficult week, it's the gain at the end that's been keeping me going. And I'm very glad that I stuck to my guns and I continued with whatever I'd set myself out to do. So once again, I want to thank my family for being my conscience. I want to thank my friends for cheering me on. But more than anything, guys, I want to thank you for keeping me honest, even though you don't you haven't been my cheerleaders in the true sense of waking up in the morning and calling me and saying, go Thuli. The fact that I know that at the end of the day I'm going to be posting on my YouTube channel and I have so many people that are going to be watching this is what has kept me going, and therefore I'm grateful once again to you. Again, week 2 done. Week 2 done and dusted. I am looking forward to week 3. I'm dreading it, I don't want to lie, because I know I'm going to be continuing to be fighting the temptations that are going to be thrown my way. But I know that I have the right attitude, and I know that my mind is keeping me going, and I am constantly going to be revalidating myself, and I'm going to be going out there and making sure that I keep true to the promises that I've made. So thank you very much. I'm grateful for your support. Tuning out now. Peace, joy, happiness. Have a lovely weekend.